Good afternoon, everyone, and hello, Bridgewater. It's been a while. My name is Harrison Young. I host a TV show called Topic Time, and we're on it right now. I've been doing the show for 7 years in several different venues. I've interviewed quite a few interesting people: actors, models, musicians, filmmakers, authors, artists, bodybuilders, media people, you name it. Got some people in Bridgewater that might remember me. I have a history here. Both my sister-in-law and my former girlfriend are from Bridgewater, but even more pertinent than that, I actually used to write for the Bridgewater Independent. I covered the BR baseball team back in 1988. They won the old Continental League Championship, and I made some good friends at the school with the kids, the staff, and the residents, including the parents of some of the kids. So if any of you remember me, nice to see you. I hope you're all doing well. But tonight, like I said, we host Topic Time, and I have in here a very, very well-known actor. You might have possibly seen him. He's brought some clips of some of his projects tonight. We're going to talk to him. We're going to see some of his projects. This is Tyler Bowe. So Tyler, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Harrison. How are you?
I'm great.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure to have you here. You're an incredible find for my show. I had to snag him because he's on his way back to Hollywood to do a special. He's back and forth from Hollywood most of the time to Fall River, Mass, which is where I believe he grew up. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
We're going to talk all about that, and then we're going to look at some clips of. He's been in shows like Murphy Brown, Days of Our Lives, The West Wing, Fame, Family Ties, some films. The list goes on, and he's going to talk about everything that he's brought for us to look at. But at first, we interview him when we talk a little about him and find out what he's all about. So Tyler, tell me about what life was like growing up in Fall River. And I have a quick question. Do you think Lizzie Borden was a Durfee grad? That was just a joke.
That's a good question. I don't know. Actually, I grew up about a block and a half from Lizzie Borden's house.
I figured you lived in that area.
Yeah. That's
okay.
where I grew up in the Highlands.
I was in the mountain. You look like a mountain man.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. You grew up in Fall River, but you've been living in Hollywood now for like 30 years, right?
Yep,
doing all these awesome shows and films. Well, how'd you end up going from? Now, let's break it down. I do this with all my guests. I like to go back to what they were like as young kids and find out how they got to where they are now and where they're going in the future. And it's pretty obvious where you're going. Well, it will be more obvious when you tell me. But tell me how you got to be where you are. What'd you do as a kid, and how did it lead to this?
I started out making movies.
Okay. How old were you?
I was about 11.
Okay.
11, 12. I got my first job as a delivery boy at Regal's Market on Bedford Street in Fall River.
All right.
And because I'm Portuguese, all the money goes to the same pot. So I would give my $12 a week to my mom.
Cool.
And she would save it for me, and then I bought my first 35 millimeter, 8mm projector, and I would get all the kids in the neighborhood to do movies.
You must have loved that.
Oh, it's amazing. You should see some of them. We used to throw dummies off of old factories and do all kinds of.
Hope they were just dummies,
stuff.
Not real living human beings.
Nobody ever got hurt. No animals got hurt.
That's good.
So I did that for a while, and then I realized that because the area was so limited as far as being able to really do it right, in the film industry, I developed music. So I learned.
Oh, that's right. You're a musician too.
Yeah, I'm a musician.
So I forgot to mention that, but that's why we ask these questions.
So I started bands, and I played. God, so
What'd you play, and what did you play?
I sang and played guitar.
Guitar, okay.
Yeah.
Write your own stuff, your bands?
Well, we did covers for a while, and then by the time I was 21, I went all original, and that's when it really took off. And I played with bands like B-52s, Ramones, Todd Rundgren, Modern English. I mean, the list just goes on.
Well, what do you mean? You played covers?
I did shows. No, I did originals. My band and.
You opened for these bands?
Yeah.
Wow.
Living Room, all the main event, all.
What venues can you like in Boston, New York?
Rat. What are the other ones? Yeah.
No, but I'm just wondering if you can remember. If you can't remember completely, just ballpark it.
It's been a while, but all the local original scenes, clubs. Boston, Providence, Rhode Island was a big place that we used to play at a lot. And, Fall River, Newport, that whole area.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did music professionally until at the age of 24.
Okay.
And then that's when I decided that I wanted to really be an actor. And I got in my car. Slept in it for 2 weeks.
Where?
In Hollywood.
Wow, you drove all the way out there, huh?
I drove all the way out there. It was a 6-cylinder, but it only ran on 5 cylinders. So I had to keep putting oil in it, and it was a convertible, a TR6. It's a British small.
I hope you went
two-seater
during the
car.
warm weather months.
I did.
Okay,
did.
that was
I
smart.
went in August.
There you go.
And
just like now. Yep.
got to Hollywood, man. You know, flat broke. I had $40 left. Slept in my car for 2 weeks. Then hooked up with some of my family that I didn't even know existed. That lives in a big Portuguese community called Artesia.
Okay.
And then every day I would drive up to Hollywood looking for work.
Oh,
And,
wow. Okay.
I got lucky. I just
What year was
walked
this
in-
about? I mean, you're
84.
84.
Yeah,
Okay.
1984.
Yep. Gotcha.
And then we drive up to Hollywood looking for a job, and I got lucky. I just knocked on every door that I could, and my first job was working at Paramount Recording Studios, who was owned by James Brolin and his brother.
James Brolin who played Dr. Steve Kiley on Marcus
Yeah.
Welby, MD.
That's
Wow.
exactly.
And his
Now-
son's now, I can't think of his son's name, but
Josh.
Josh. There you
Brolin.
go.
Yeah, he was a baby at the time.
I know.
Yeah, but now
I
he's
know
a
that.
big
I used to
movie
watch
star.
Marcus Welby.
Yeah, yeah.
So I remember James.
Yeah.
James, great. He's still with us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah, he's doing
sure.
all
Yeah, he's
right.
married to Barbara Streisand.
Is that so?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Second
married,
wife?
yeah.
More than, is that his first?
Yeah, that's his
second
definitely
wife.
second wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a bad
Not
way
a
to
bad thing. No,
have
no,
a,
no.
you know, to have as a lover, I guess. A
Yeah,
person,
yeah. And then while I was actually working at Paramount Recording Studios, I was asked to, our printer broke down. So we couldn't make copies. So
I always say everything happens for a
Brian,
reason.
Yeah,
Yep.
Brian was like, Tyler, can you just go to the printer and make copies there? And I did, and I just walked in and I had these baggy pants, right? My hair all spiked out as usual.
Yep.
And as I'm standing in line, this woman comes up to me and she says, "You know how to dance?" And I said, "Yeah, I took dancing lessons actually. My mother made me do it, and I don't regret
Wow.
it." And I go, "Why?" She says, "You want to be in a movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, are you kidding? Do I want to be in a movie?" She says, "Can you work tomorrow for 3 days?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I have to ask my boss, right?" And she says, "Well, here's my number. Let me know by tonight, right?"
Wow.
So I go back to the studio, and I'm practically begging Brian and Jim. Says, "Man, you know what? I've just been asked to be in a movie. This is why I came out here." And at first they said no, but her sister, James's sister, who happened to be there, Nancy, who was like Miss California, beautiful blonde girl.
Oh, very.
She's like, "No, let him go, let him go."
Oh, man.
Anyhow, they gave me the 3 days off, and it turned out to be Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
The music video?
No, the movie. The
Oh,
movie
okay. Who was
with
in that? I know the
Jessica
music video very well,
Parker,
Cyndi Lauper, but that
Yeah.
it came out around the same time, too.
Sarah Jessica Parker
Oh,
was the
okay.
lead in it.
Cool.
And that was the first time I actually stepped on a movie set, and that was it. I was hooked.
Oh,
You know,
man.
I was like, boom. You know, so I did
Speaking
that.
role and everything?
Dancing role.
Oh,
Dancing role.
Well,
yeah,
that's even
yeah,
better.
yeah.
It's kind of a language in and of
Yeah,
itself,
yeah.
after all, right?
Yeah, it was a dancing role.
Yep.
And then from there, went to school, and then I got
Where?
lucky. Well, I studied at UCLA,
Okay.
PGA, artist group.
Where'd you get the funds for? Did you go out? Did you have a scholarship or something?
No, you kidding? I was totally broke.
I know, but that's an expensive school. How'd you get in
Yeah.
there?
Well, I worked. I
Oh, you
kept
did?
the
Okay,
job.
working for Paramount.
Yeah, I kept
Wow.
working for Paramount.
Plus your
and
money from the
then-
film that you did.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then
Cool.
the next thing I come across was a casting director that I made friends with, and he's like, "Hey man, do you want a small part in a big TV show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I says, "You're gonna work like 3-4 days a week, guaranteed, right?"
Okay.
Turns out to be Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown.
So I'm on Murphy Brown for eight years,
Wow.
8 seasons.
Were you now I saw one of the clips that was on YouTube. Now what was that?
My character was Dave.
Dave, yeah.
Yeah, I was part of.
You were
his
having like a little.
ensemble.
You were having a little bit of a frictional build-up deal with Faith Ford's
With
character.
Faith Ford, yeah,
She was
yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
at the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
I remember.
yeah.
I don't know about now. It was a long time ago,
Yeah.
but she's probably
But
really still pretty looking.
She
Good-looking girl.
doesn't act much anymore. She's more of a producer now.
Yeah, yeah.
and,
Okay. Well, all right. Talk about your character, Dave. Let's go on with that. You got a clip of that. too.
That was it. You know, I started working on Murphy Brown, and it was a blessing for me because it was steady work to begin
Sure.
with. You know, and that's a blessing for any actor,
course.
whether you're established or not.
Yep.
Okay, steady work is the key, and then. Within the show, I was actually able to do other things. So I did a couple of movies of the week, The Sitter, did a bunch of independent movies, and a ton of stuff, California Dreams, and and then eventually more and more, went on to West Wing, Days of Our
Yeah, you were
Lives,
speaking Portuguese in the West Wing clip I
yeah,
saw. What was that? I mean,
yeah.
you are Portuguese, so maybe
Yeah.
it was easy for you.
And I speak it fluently. So
You do.
cool.
Talk about, what were you, I mean, you were an interpreter in West Wing? What was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
I actually had to learn.
Yes,
To,
and as
Portuguese
you
is
just
my
said, you
native
also
language,
speak
so
Right.
that was not a problem.
Right.
But I also had to learn how to speak Indonesian
Why?
because
Yes.
it was the scene takes place. It's the ambassador from Indonesia that
Yep.
comes to the White House, and they got to do a trade-off of a political prisoner that they're holding hostage, and the ambassador of Indonesia doesn't speak English,
Right.
but because I spoke Indonesian and I could speak Portuguese, I end up translating. But it turns out to be, and not to give the clip away, but it
Okay.
turns out to be that the ambassador spoke English the whole time.
Wow.
And that's what makes it really fun. Aaron Sorkin, who is like one of TV's biggest writers,
Yep.
he wrote it, and I was very proud just to be a part of an Aaron Sorkin episode, that he had written.
Okay, wow.
So that was a lot of fun, and then so many other things. Went on to do many other things for any.
What about
everything
Family
from-
Ties? What role did you have in
Family
that?
Ties, it was a bit part. It was non-speaking, but I played an artist, and I was
which? Oh, an artist, okay.
Yeah, an artist. Yeah, it was a small thing, but I got to meet Michael J.
Michael J.
Fox
Fox.
and everybody else.
Yep.
And it was a great experience. And
Sure,
that was
okay.
a Paramount production, also.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
Paramount.
yeah.
What about let me see. You in Fame too, right?
Yeah, I worked on Fame.
The film or the TV
no,
show?
the TV show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Were you
yeah.
one of the big players in the
I
school?
I played different characters,
Okay.
and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this.
No,
but
you don't.
I don't
Don't give
think she
anything
would-
away you're not supposed
I don't
to.
think she would mind, but I was going out with Carrie Hamilton, who is Carol Burnett's daughter.
Okay.
And she played Carrie on
Oh
the
yeah,
show.
Carol Burnett's daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so she would like say, "No, come on, Tyler, come work. We'll make you a fireman today. Tomorrow
Okay.
you can be the musician. And so I ended up doing, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 different episodes. And
Wow.
then I met like some of the characters and the actors on it. And I ended up forming a band with Michael Severus, who's a big time Tony Award-winning actor.
Wow.
He was the lead in Titanic. He was the lead in Tommy, amazing actor, and we formed a band. That was my first band, actually, in Hollywood, Permanent Vacation.
Okay.
And it just kept going from there, and it's been, almost 30 years
You say you've been in
now.
some commercials too. What about those?
Yeah, I
What was
just
that? What was
shot,
that?
well, this year I
Those.
shot, 4 national commercials. I did one that's called CDW.
What's that stand for?
CDW
you don't know, that's
is,
fine.
no, I do know. It's Cisco. They're a huge
Computer thing, right?
computer,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Computer discount warehouse.
Wow.
Actually, that's what it stands for.
Yep, okay.
And that went national. That got tons of play on A&E, you name it, man. It's been on Porn Stars, amazing thing.
Now, I
And
saw
then-
in Days of Our Lives. By the way, did I
Yeah.
mention he was in Days of Our Lives? You played like a panhandling drug dealer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that was. Well,
I've played quite a few of
played
those.
quite a few, yeah.
I'm definitely a character actor.
You are,
know?
yeah. What do you think was the most prominent role you ever played? If you could say, it sounds to me like they all are, but I'm just
They
wondering if you
all
have
are,
your favorite
but
one.
They're all my favorite because I love acting.
Sure.
And but one that really sticks out. I spent almost 8 days on a TV show, an old one called China Beach.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I was in the episode.
It was an
The
80s. It was an
Warriors,
80s
yeah.
show. Yep.
And that to me was like an amazing experience. I was part of the Warriors. That we were a team that we would just we're all drug addicts.
You were drug addicts,
yeah,
of course.
And we would just hop on the chopper, and just our assignment would be to go to villages and just wipe out people, which is not a funny thing at all. But that particular group, they were so
Wipe
crazy.
out villages. Was this like
Yeah.
were you in the Asian War or something?
Yeah,
Vietnam?
it was. Yeah,
Is that
and,
it?
and we would just
okay.
we were all drug infested, and they would just throw us. This is based on reality.
I know,
but
I know it
I'm
is.
playing the part.
Yep.
And they would just throw these poor souls, these young kids, into these helicopters and say, just go in this village and just wipe everything
Oh.
out. And then we'd come back, and they would let you do whatever you wanted because
That was your
nobody else.
job. I mean,
yeah,
you
it
did
was
your
the
job, you killed them,
But
and I don't want to
main
use
thing-
the words that sounds derogatory, but you know what I mean, right?
The main thing was that I felt like I'm a very anti-war person.
Me too.
Just so you understand that.
Yes.
But I actually got to live in the fantasy world
Okay.
of what it would be like to be in a real war, and it was just. I don't think I could ever do it because we would sleep in the tents at night, and I'd have my M16 with the bayonet and all that in these carts, and I'd be like, and you'd hear the crickets
Okay.
and the river
Yeah.
going. If you ever saw the episode, you'd see what I'm talking about.
Well, let me ask you this: what was it like shooting it? I mean, what did they use for special effects? Were they everything computer generated, or
No, not in those days. No, we went to a location in Northern California
Okay.
where the base was of the
military base?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
military
see.
base.
Okay.
And we spent 8 days there living it, man.
Man,
You know,
I guess.
it was crazy. I was like, if this was real life, I don't know how these poor kids would ever survive mentally.
Sure.
You know, because either I am, I'm
Let alone
saying,
physically.
I'm just an actor here.
Right.
And I was starting to freak out. You know, I mean,
Of
we're
course.
crossing rivers, getting wet, going back to our tents, feeling like total crap, man.
Wow.
And then sleeping. How could they even sleep in those carts? All you had protection was just those tents walls. You know, all I was thinking, the enemy could just come right through there with a bayonet and just start sticking me. So that was definitely one of my most memorable acting experiences. That
It was intense and
It was
powerful,
totally
yeah.
intense, totally intense.
Did you ever have a comic role? I suppose the one when you played Dave on Murphy Brown. That was probably
yeah.
the most comical.
I've done comedy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Believe it or not, comedy is a lot more. I was having this discussion with a friend of mine last night at this place in Fall River, St. James Club. Comedy is probably the toughest thing to do is when it comes to acting.
I agree with you.
Everybody thinks, oh yeah, you just make them laugh. No, there's something about doing comedy that
It's not just the way you speak. It's the way you present yourself, and the way and that includes facial expressions. That includes mannerisms.
Physical,
yeah, exactly.
The physical part.
And you got to work it big time.
Yeah. And like the weird thing about doing comedy is that you do it for one audience, and when you hit your punchlines, you're expecting the laugh.
Timing is important.
Yeah,
too.
the timing, and you're expecting, okay, if I'm going to say da da da, here comes the laugh. So you have to wait a little bit for the laugh to happen.
Right.
Let the laugh play,
Yep.
and then come in with your next line. Well, when you hit the punchline and nobody laughs, your heart just goes boom. It's like, oh my God, we didn't get the laugh, And
Well,
comedy,
I see what you mean, because you always do it before a live audience.
yeah.
You
Well,
need to have-
Murphy Brown, for example, was filmed in front of a live audience.
Right, of course. Most of the shows past 1980
like
were, I'd
yeah,
say.
Yeah. So it's like when you hit that punchline and you get the laugh, you get even more confidence. But if you don't get the laugh, you're like,
Oh, boy, this was supposed to laugh at
boy.
this.
Yeah, because the networks are
Back
counting.
in the 60s and 70s, it was easy, because that's when they used the laugh track.
Right.
And that
right,
way,
no,
there was no
right.
mistake in a laugh track. I mean,
Yeah,
even if you-
I see old
Right.
episodes and I'm like laugh track, like Hogan's Heroes. I'm a big fan.
Get Smart, that was my
I
favorite.
love Get Smart.
Get Smart, yeah.
All the old shows, I love those shows, yeah.
Sorry about that, Chief. Hey, I don't think I did too bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's talk about, what are you doing now? You going back to LA tonight?
Well,
What's going on over there?
I just finished, like I said, shooting. I did a bunch of stuff this year already. I did a music video with Chuck Prophet.
With who?
Chuck Prophet, the musician.
Okay.
Beyonce was another one. I just finished shooting a special for Comedy Central, an hour and a half.
Yeah, are you doing that? Are you currently doing that when you go back to LA?
No, I'm done with that.
You're done
That
with
was
that,
the very last thing I just did last week. That's going to air in January of 2018.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And right before that, I just did a huge commercial for Opel Cars for Germany.
Oh, wow.
Where I played the evil boss, and it's really cool stuff.
Are they going to be playing just in Germany, or are we going to see it here
well,
in the U.S. too?
No, not just Germany, all over Europe.
Cool.
I'm not sure if it's going to come to the States, but it's going to be all over the internet.
Did you shoot? You didn't happen to shoot it in Germany, did you?
No. We shot it down. Oops, hold on. I think my mic just clicked out. We shot it downtown L.A.
Okay.
Los Angeles, yeah.
Come on, you can do it, man. You can do it. You're an actor. You know how to
There you
use
go.
mics before.
Oh yeah.
Well, have you ever been interviewed on a TV show before?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
lots,
what
yeah.
have you been on? What have you been on? Like late night shows? Like
No, not to that level, but I've done so many interviews.
Okay.
Not just TV, newspapers, magazines. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope I hope we cover as much as we can with you tonight, because this is you're such an honor having you here, given your history,
Well,
and the
thank
fact
you,
that I
man.
was able to land you as a guest, being that we're both Facebook friends, and I had no idea. I know because I have almost 2,200 Facebook friends, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
day I always say everything happens for a reason. I say that on just about every show. The day that I asked you to text me, you told me all the stuff you did. I thought, wait a minute, what's up? This guy's done all this, and then I saw your page, and I saw you on YouTube, and I'm like, whoa.
Thank you.
How awesome is that?
Thank you.
What about now? Do you ever incorporate your music into any films that you've made?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
Talk about that.
Like Nightclub, the movie with Lou Diamond Phillips.
Okay.
Where I played the restaurant manager. I actually wrote 3 songs on that movie. I wrote the main track for another movie, Giving It Up, for Columbia Films.
Wow.
I've done a few here and there, but I also write songs, and not to brag, but I won.
Brag. Go ahead. Brag.
I
That's
won
what it's for.
the International Portuguese Music Awards last year,
Cool.
which had 72 million views worldwide. The song is called Soul. I wrote it with my co-writer Mia Wave and
Wow.
another writer, John Sloan, who happens to also be my manager. Collaborated with these guys, and we won. We won the
High
People's
five.
Choice. Yeah.
Bro,
There you go.
way to go, bro. All right. By the way, you must know Sarah Silverman, the comedian.
Yeah, I know the name. I mean,
Is this the name? You don't know who she is?
Yeah, I don't follow,
Well, she,
comedians.
you know my colleague Jimmy Kimmel. You know who he is.
Yeah.
He dated her for 5 years.
Okay.
And
all
she was
right.
a stand-up comedian. She was in the Something About Mary. Remember that?
Oh yeah, okay.
She played one of
Yeah.
Cameron. She's my cousin.
She's your cousin.
She is, yeah.
Well, hook me up, man.
Well, I can't. Well, I'm hoping that she sees this show and she'll want to come on as a guest. I just met her for
There
the
you
first
go.
time back on April 28th at the Wilbur.
Oh yeah.
When I
cool.
when I get you back to the airport, I'll show you the picture. It's really, it's a pretty cool picture of us. And
Awesome,
yeah, I
awesome.
mean, obviously, you're a pretty big name in your own right. So,
Well,
and
thank you,
from what I'm actually surprised that she's never worked with you. See, Sarah, I mean, she does movies, and she does her own bits, stand up and stuff. But I've never actually seen her on a 30-minute sitcom like you
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
And I don't know why not. I mean, she'd be great on it, but nobody's ever written her into one. I mean, I'm sure if they
Doesn't
did.
mean it won't happen, you know.
But like you said, comedy doesn't happen by itself. You got to
Yeah.
work it.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You definitely do.
Well, so what are your plans for the future then? What are you looking at?
When I get back,
Yeah.
I got to finish, like, the IPMA Music Awards are happening again. They're taking submissions, and I'm finishing up 3 songs
Okay.
In my little studio at home. And got to get that done, and then I never know. I'll wait for my agent to call me and say, okay, here's your next audition. Keep your fingers crossed. And like he always says, why not me? Why not me?
Exactly. Well, why not me? Hey, listen.
Why not me? I'm
Tell all
like,
your
yeah,
tell your
John.
friends in Hollywood. I'd love to
Yeah.
get them on the show. I wouldn't mind moving out. Well, I go out there to do the show. But what do you think? Have you ever done any films right here in New England? I mean, obviously the film scene in New England is really big now.
Yeah, no, I have not.
You haven't?
Not, no,
That's amazing
no.
because most of the people I interview
not.
that do films have worked their way out from here
Yeah,
toward
yeah.
there. Now you
I went
did,
right-
but you
I went
started so
right to
long ago.
Africa.
You went right to Hollywood and
You
you
know.
made it happen there. Well,
like,
I mean,
like they say, if you want to hunt elephants,
yeah.
Go to Africa. So yeah, I said, if I'm going to do acting, I'm going to go right to Hollywood, man. So,
Okay.
And there I've been for 30
Well,
years.
all right. Tell you what, we got under 5 minutes now. So what I want you to do, I ask every guest to give shouts out to as many people as they can in the time we got remaining, and then we'll wrap it up with the music if you're ready to do that. So,
I'd like to give a shout out to my manager, John Bryan, my co-writer Mia Wave, my friend over here, Kenny St. Pierre, who drove me up here, my buddies over in Westport, my buddies,
Great town.
John Winters, Alex Canoper from Westport, my sister Philomena, my mother Odelia, who I adore, who
There you
still
go.
lives here, and I'll give a shout out to God. Thank you so much.
yeah,
man.
thank you. You're a
pleasure.
wonderful guest, and
Thank you.
and let me tell you something. I seriously what I do is word of mouth is how I get most of my top time guests now.
Okay.
So go out and tell your friends about your Hollywood actor friends.
Okay.
I'd love to interview them. You know, I'll go out there if I have to. I mean, that's my goal. My goal is to eventually take this to the next level. I've been doing it for 7 years. I haven't written up in the Boston Globe. I worked at. I had a guest on who happened to be a freelance journalist. Brockton Enterprise and a couple of assorted papers in the area as well. And so I mean, I'd like to think I'm heading in that. Having someone on, guests like you, is going to make my opportunities come, forth with her, as they say.
Thank you.
All right, just wondering one question before we wrap it up for good. Do you have anybody you emulate? You know, any particular actors or actresses that you really idolize?
That I idolize?
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many of them. But just
Anyone in particular?
Yeah, Al Pacino would be one.
There you go.
Christopher Walken would be another one.
Okay.
Yeah, those are probably my two favorite. I like Robert De Niro also.
There you go.
You know.
You talking to me?
You talking to me?
You talking
Hey.
to me?
But you know, I mean, that's a tough question because there are so many
I got to ask the tough
actors,
questions.
yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap it up now. You ready to boogie down with us?
Let's do it. Ready?
Okay. Thanks for watching Topic Time. See you watch more episodes. Take care. Here we go.
Hey, Bridgewater.
Hey, Bridgewater. Yay. Great town. That's a wrap. All right.